Hello guys, this is Sol. As you can see, I've managed to do another video. As for the YouTube side of things, I still didn't monetize my channel, and also I still have a shitty PC. On the other hand, I am very grateful to you all who send me your support, be it through comments or be it through monetary gains. I am very grateful to you all on the Patreon and the PayPal. You can see all of my beautiful patrons here and the people who immensely supported me on PayPal. It really helped me survive this. Okay, enough of my mad ramblings. Enjoy the video. Oh, right. New puppies were born, so I will upload the video of them later. Cheers.
What is the most eerie experience you've ever had?
I was playing with a pendulum at a cemetery the other night. This is what happened. Sitting in my car, asking the pendulum questions, it's corresponding. Start feeling a tingling sensation on my back, like there's a hair in the back of my bra or something. Reach into my shirt to pull it out. Feel that the area where I thought there to be a hair is actually red and swollen. Leave the cemetery. Feel the area a day or two later. Feel 2 long scabs on my back. I was at my mom's today and I asked her to take a look for me. Sure enough, I've got 2 scratches on my back. So I'm pretty sure I got scratched by some spirit or entity. The marks are a little hard to see in the pic. I don't know where else these could have come from. I haven't had anything touch my back that would have caused these recently, and I don't wear wire bras.
Walking through the mist on acid with company. We are actually walking on a military firing range, but it's allowed. Hear what can only be giant trolls yelling hidden in the mist. Probably just some military boombox spoofs.
Early morning. Headed to work, it's still dark out. I hit a curve in the road. Accidentally nudge my hand on the wheel with my knee, swerve a bit. Thank God that I didn't wreck, nervously laughing to myself. From the right side of the road, a shadowy figure enters the beam of my headlights. It's slowly walking towards the middle of the right lane. It's inky black and there's a shadowy aura that trails behind it as it moves. Too panicked to react, think I'm about to hit someone. I end up passing right through it. Heart is pounding so hard that I feel like I'm on the verge of a heart attack, nearly in tears, the rest of the ride to work.
My Hatman experience. It was fucking terrifying and felt way more real than any other sleep paralysis I've had, 6 episodes I can remember. I wrote it off as a night terror and it didn't fuck with me until 18 years later, 2020, when I had seen a post about it on here. I realized what I had seen was pretty common and everyone who has had a real experience with him knows the fucking terror he invokes. Nothing terrifying really happened, but he just seemed to be able to control all aspects of me. Paralysis, couldn't move eyes, nor even blink, invoked sheer terror on first sight, laid me back bent 90 degrees at my knees while they were still planted. At the end of it all, he got in my face, in such a way that all my vision was pitch black and it was like I just blanked out on thoughts for hours. Close your eyes and literally don't think of anything for a couple seconds. It was that for hours, conscious but literally zero thoughts. When I woke up and was fucking shocked that I was alive and just pretty confused about what the fuck happened.
I encountered a sasquatch while hiking alone in the northern Cascades. Staring into this thing's eyes was the most eerie thing that I've experienced in my life. The sasquatch ended up saving my life that day after I got lost on the mountain. Been hiking for years before and since, and nothing even remotely strange close to this has ever happened.
How'd he save your life exactly? Did he lead you back to the trail?
Yep. I was being followed by tree knocks while I was lost, from both the left and right of the mountain. I sat down after about an hour and just asked in my head for the Sasquatch to help me find my way home. I knew they were following, and I've read the reports about telepathy/mind speak with these beings, so I decided to try it because I had nothing to lose at that point. Wasn't expecting anything and felt kinda silly after doing it, but anyway, I'm sliding this steep gully, still lost, when over my right shoulder I heard the loudest roar I've ever heard. It shook my entire chest and was so terrifying my body just reacted and I turned left to get away as fast as possible from whatever made that roar. It sounded like a lion/dragon. Anyways, now I'm heading left instead of heading down, and am running and stumbling for probably about 100 yards until I kinda slow down and catch my breath and look and don't see anything. So I'm making my way heading left and I reach this small cliff and look down and there's the trail below. After hiking the trail a ways I turned and looked into that gully where I was lost, and about 30 yards from where I heard the roar, the mountain fell away steeply into these shale/gravel cliffs and there's no way I would have seen it and there was nothing to grab onto. Even when I was in the gully the mountainside was so steep I was holding on to bushes not to fall. Whatever made that roar at that exact moment that forced me to turn left, saved me from breaking my legs/neck/dying.
Be me hunting, a couple years back. It's getting late so I'm walking back to my campsite. The silence is deafening as I walk back until something catches my eye. I think I see a deer in a clearing ahead between some heavy brush. Stalk my way up downwind. As I get closer I see something is wrong with the deer. I get closer I see the deer is shaking violently as it stands in place. I finally breach the trees and see not just one deer but several, and not just deer. Various different animals almost standing in a circle shaking violently with their heads down facing towards a large ordinary rock. The shaking gets so bad you can hear the stress on some of their bodies with cracks and weird squeaks from joints. Feel so violently I vomit immediately. Decide to bug out, don't know why, I just remember being so fucking terrified and my adrenaline being so violent. I'm pretty sure I ran for miles in the dark. As I was running away after panic packing up my camp I remember hearing a choir of various animals making distress calls. I sometimes still get a light feeling similar to the one that night sometimes at night when I'm near the woods.
I work in a large indoor firearms range as both a trainer and a range officer. Approximately 2 years ago we had a very disturbed 23-year-old kid come in and rent a firearm. He walking onto lane 1, put the gun in his mouth, and took his life. A week ago we all got our quarterly blood test reports and I'm the only current range employee who is at a safe level to continue maintaining the range. The owner asked if I would stay late that night on my own and do some maintenance, which I agreed to for the overtime. I worked in there for a while shoveling brass casings, rewiring pulleys, and sweeping the floor before finally calling it a night. As I walked out I said the same thing we say every night, "Good night Anon," which is the name of the young man who committed suicide there. I won't post it out of respect. I flipped off all the lights and walked out. As I went to grab my bags I realized I left my hat and respirator on the range on lane 1. I decided against better judgment to walk back out onto the range with all the lights still off using my phone as a flashlight. The second I grabbed my hat and mask I got the most unexplainable feeling all over my body. I slowly began walking back towards the range door and as I do I could hear the clink of a brass casing falling into a collection spot on the floor. I have never ran so fast in all of my life. I'm sure it was just paranoia and the brass noise could have just been a casing resettling from the top of a pile I had made. It was extremely uncomfortable though. We have many customers who come in and refuse to shoot on lane 1, as well as female coworkers who refuse to clean out there by themselves.
I was in the woods in Oz, like deep in the woods, maybe 30 or 40 miles away from any city, with a group of 3 friends. It was 1 a.m. and we just got done doing some romping and stopped the car to smoke some weed. Suddenly we heard this crackling sound like the noise the predator makes and a bunch of tree branches started to snap. Me and the driver looked at each other with pure horror in our eyes, and the other 2 friends who stepped out to pee ran inside the car while screaming to get the fuck out of there. We hightailed it going 60 on a dirt road and could still hear the sounds of the crackling and branches snapping on our way out. Still gives me fucking chills. Also came across a witch hut that had smoke coming out of it deep inside of Buffalo Park. I say witch hut because it had these super strange looking symbols made of wood all over the hut.
Wake up one night. Sit straight up and stare at my door for no reason. Entire house is dead fucking silent. Brother slept on the bunk above me and snored but not a peep. A skeleton with dreads pokes his head around my door and stares at me. Sit there and watch him until he left. Felt zero fear for some reason, didn't feel anything at all, we were just looking at each other. Go back to sleep. Wake up and remember everything, just thought it was weird. Tell mom about it eventually, she's obsessed with angels and stuff. She tells me our house is haunted as fuck and used to see angels around the place when I was younger, and apparently it's why she's obsessed. Was wondering if I saw an angel, no idea why it'd look like a RASTA skeleton though.
Be me. Trying to get back in shape for mountain biking this year. Grab bike and hit one of the easy trails. Been there a million times, know all the ins and outs. Hitting the faster sections and getting more confident as the ride progresses. Having a general blast. Out super far on the trail away from trailhead, haven't seen anyone on the trail at all. Suddenly, new trail routes appear that weren't there before winter. Get extremely confused and have to stop and assess the situation so I don't get lost. Suddenly, woman comes jogging out of nowhere from one of the new paths, heading the opposite direction. I say to her, huh, they changed the trails? She looks at me emotionlessly and keeps running along. Decide fuck it, and pick the farthest right path to keep going. Everything looks different and weird, but eventually I make it back to a part of the path I'm familiar with. Rest of trail is the same. Slog through the remainder uphill portion of the trail. On my last legs of strength on the hardest uphill part of the course, and the woman appears out of nowhere again, jogging on the trail. Get a better view, she's old, maybe 60, kinda impressed, but there's one thing. Thinking to myself, how did she get here so fast? Ride past her not thinking any more of it, no comments from her, she's running opposite direction of me back into the woods towards the far reaches of the trails. Finish ride, and go to pack bike up. Same woman is on far side of parking lot facing towards me from the complete opposite direction of where she was heading. Still think nothing about it other than damn, she must be fast. 24 hours later. Get on /x/ and start reading Skinwalker threads. Start thinking about ride the other day. Foo. I don't really believe in superstitious stuff, and this was probably nothing extraordinary, but the unfamiliar trail section gave me some weird vibes. The weird part is the new parts of the trail looked like they were always there. Pick rel.
Walking through a park on the way to work just before noon. Walking up a hill. Get to the top and there is a man dressed in green nun's habit seemingly out of nowhere. Incoherently humming and blowing dandelions into the breeze. Suddenly comes up to me. Blessed day to you, I am Sister Flowers. Nod and smile, continue to walk. You won't put me in your story, but that's fine. I am writing a short story at the time. Turn back around, doing what hour was before. People and dogs walking by seem to not notice or pay any attention. Still wonder to this day he was even real.
Playing in front yard of grandma's house as a child around 7 or 8. Hairs on the back of neck bristle, feel fear unlike I have ever felt before, no idea why. Feel like I'm being observed by a predator. Look up. Man half as tall as the trees, fully grown poplar, is hiding behind them poorly, his body is thicker than it but he's clearly trying to conceal his prescience. Entire body is jet black, no eyes no face, just black in the shape of a man. Run as fast as I can back to the house about 100 feet away, the entire sprint feels like an eternity, just waiting for this thing to grab me from behind in my desperate pointless escape. Make it inside. Slam door, run around house locking every door and window as my grandmother yells at me and slowly becomes more concerned as she notices I'm locking everything. Fall down and cry after. See it again 3 years later after I fail to keep up with other kids while I'm walking in oversized rubber boots in the dead of winter down a trail on their property. After they are out of sight and beyond a corner, get the same feeling, look behind me and it's looming directly behind me. Turn and run without a second thought, run through -30 with no boots on and my socks as fast and as hard as I possibly can until I get back to their house. Mom asks me what happened, tell her I saw a giant black monster, they assume I saw a cow and got panicked in the dark. Cows don't have arms. Another one I managed to see with another person. Finish job at pizza place at 3 a.m. Go outside to catch a ride home with my driver. A caddy pulls past us with an old man looking straight ahead that doesn't even acknowledge us. In the backseat is what looks like an adult-sized fetus with its hands pressed against the glass glaring at us and fogging with window with its breath. Driver has panic attack and asks if I saw that. Say it looked just like a clone slug from Venture Brothers. Don't sleep that night. Seen UFOs before as well, but they were small time.
Be me. 10th grader still in Boy Scouts because like to camp. On backpacking trip in Ocala National Forest. 6 dads and 10 6th graders. In the middle of Ocala National Forest. 20 plus miles from nearest road. Hot as balls. Some guy wearing a Jansport backpack and no supplies walks by going the other way. That's weird. Set up camp a few hours later. Mr. Jansport comes by and asks for water. No problem, weirdo. Right before dusk Mr. Jansport comes by again. Oh. Can I camp with you guys? Only has Jansport. Go away. No, I'm staying here. Dad's getting angry. Situation getting tense. Take the kids to a nearby river about 500 yards away. Come back after dark. Where'd that creepy guy go? Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure they killed him. My dad still refuses to tell me. And I have no clue what that guy was doing in the middle of nowhere with no supplies. He gave off really weird vibes that I can't put into words. Just weird.
8th grade. Sister is doing online school so she can pick me up from school every day because it's 2 minutes away. We go driving in the woods about 10 minutes from home whenever picked up. Abandoned house that's been there longer than we have lived here, it has a pine tree growing straight through the center of the house. We drive past it, and I look at it to say a joke. Inside the garage looking shed, something tall and looks like black fabric is standing in the shed. The thing is hunched over, as if too tall to stand in the shed. Sister sees it too, floors it. Convince her to take the road that goes around to see what it was. We go around, it's now stepping out the back of the garage, we see it has a white head, and a body that looked like a sheet or black fabric flowing down from the weird head. Sister has enough and hits the gas. We reach the bottom of the road, and look in the mirrors of the car. It's just sitting in the road behind us. Sister rushes us home, going 80 in a 60 straight road. She refuses to talk about it. Whenever we do talk about it, we agree it makes us feel uncomfortable, but we don't know why.